Yo, what's up everybody? It's me, Robert Moraine, and welcome back to What Makes This Dancer Great. Today's dancer is Salah, and their performance is from Choreographers Carnival 2018. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Before we start, I just wanted to say thank you all for the huge amount of support for the last episode, the first episode of this series where I reviewed Elsewhere's videos. And now to continue, I thought it would be only right to do it with Salah because he was actually my second biggest inspiration growing up, and there's so much of his influence in my own dance. So without further ado, let's get into it. That's right, give it up for this man. One of the greatest of all time. Come on, a true original. That'll be a reoccurring theme in this series, is that all of these greatest artists are really originals. Their own sense of style, stage presence, groove. Got that locking groove going on. There we go, straight into the popping. He always had like an unorthodox way of popping. It always looked kind of unique to his own body type. And there's a classic. I mean, his neck isolation is just out of this world. And he's the one who made neck isolation popular. I think we would all agree. He's so expressive and musical. Anytime you see him dancing, he's always hitting all of these really fun musical accents. Unexpected stuff. And there's another classic. His body control is just incredible. The way he can control different parts of his body and do different things at the same time with it. Reminiscent of drumming. Like that, I mean, come on. That's something that he always puts in his show, and I love it. It's crowd-pleasing as hell. The triple isolation. It's kind of like doing this, but obviously a lot harder. And then, that's the thing, like, he's so musical. He always changes dynamic right on the, like, let's say the musical break or the drop. He really brings out the best in the music. And he's so isolated. You see how he just keeps his hand there and he moves the rest of his body, and it's almost like the hand just doesn't move. And that's really one of the things that makes him great. His sense of isolation and the way he can visualize in his mind the way his body looks to the rest of the audience. Plus 20 plus years of experience helps. Obviously I'm inspired by this guy. There's so many elements of his style that I also include in mine. And it was directly inspired by this guy. I mean, growing up as a teenager, I was watching his videos and completely copying everything I saw. Love it. See, now all of a sudden he does like these trace waves. He always switches it up, but at the end of the day, he's still doing Salah. And all of these little intricacies that he adds to his style always keeps his style fresh. And I think that's really important, and it's inspiring for myself. So, like, that's one of his old tricks as well, but it's still so awesome. Creativity. All the things that made him a gross weirdo when he was growing up, probably. Just, I'm sure he's so happy that he had all these like weird things to do. And I'm so happy that he decided to incorporate all these funny things into his style. And he is a jack of all trades. He's a b-boy, he's a locker, and he's a popper. not to mention a clown, a mime, and an incredible personality, and a great person. All right, he's doing some hat tricks. I didn't know he did hat tricks. I do hat tricks. Yes. Listen to that, audience. Soak it in. Can you name any poppers that can do that? I can name only a handful. I can count them on my hand. Poppers that can arouse an audience like Salah. There's not many. We'll try and cover them all in this video. So, I'm gonna stop it right here. It looks like it continues, but I don't think for much. Salah, I mean, come on. Is he not one of the best of all time? It's just so apparent. You can hear it in the audience. This is a choreographer's carnival, so everybody in the audience is probably somehow associated with dancing. He's like the dancer's dancer. I know so many dancers that absolutely adore Salah's style, which is rare because usually entertainers get a bad rep in the dance world. But obviously Salah has put in his work. He is by far one of the best triple threat people there are out there. He can win battles in locking, he can win battles in popping, and won battles in b-boying. Has a crazy resume. I mean, obviously he was in the Vagabond crew from Battle of the Year in like 2002, I believe 2001, I think they took the championship at Battle of the Year, and that has a lot to do with Salah. I mean, at the time when he first came out, he was just huge, and there was no viral videos at that time, and everybody knew who Salah was. He was a force to be reckoned with. He was like part of that new wave of the late 90s, early 2000s poppers. And coming from a country that wasn't really known for their poppers, Salah like put France on the map for popping. And all of his contributions to Just Debout and all of his contributions to dance in general. There's so many things that he brought to the table that were never brought before. There's so many tricks that people have taken. I have completely been inspired by Salah since day one. And obviously you can see it in my style. He is one of my favorite dancers, and I'm sure he's one of everyone's favorite dancer because there's nobody else like Salah. And that is exactly why he's one of the greatest. So the next video I wanted to show you, I kind of wanted to go through something a little bit older. It's a battle from IBE, I believe in 2004. And it's also a pretty famous video, and it's his journey from the bottom of a battle bracket all the way to the final, which he won. And it was an all-styles battle, so you get to see him do a lot of different dances and explore a lot of different styles, which is really interesting, and also one of the reasons why I want to show you this. It shows how great of a dancer he is. Exactly the battle I thought it was. Perfect. Salah versus Blade, international breakdance event. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it was 2004. And this watch what happens in this battle. Blade's a great dancer, don't get me wrong, but once Salah goes in, he just completely captivates the audience. Look, everyone's already waiting for it, it's quiet. It's like, all right, what's he gonna do? And that's another, man, I've never battled Salah, but I imagine it's really intimidating. He's one of those people where you never know what he's gonna pull out of his hat. I'm sure everyone feels the same way. You can see the stakes are high whenever he enters. Here we go. By the way, I picked this song from So You Think You Could Dance because of this video. That's how infatuated I was with Salah. He's so unorthodox with his dancing, but commits and has the technique and it just all falls together with his personality. traditional, like, purist poppers don't like Salah's style because it's kind of gimmicky, and I mean, he's not dancing there and everyone went crazy, but that just shows you what strategy and intelligence can bring to the table. He didn't even have to dance and made everyone go crazy. And I think that counts, especially in a battle, and I think it always has. And to take that away from a battle, to disregard the crowd pleasers, I think is a mistake, because that is part of the dance, is connecting with the audience. And if the audience isn't connected with you and all you're doing is just straight technique, then you're missing something. You're missing part of the big picture, in my opinion. And Salah is one of these dancers that completely has a clear vision of the big picture. And look here, like how he reacts, he's so reactive to everything. Like he became a part of that taunt. Instead of just being taunted and standing there like a mean b-boy or something, he turns it into he makes it into something of his own. See, he was just like, no, I don't get mad. See, I'm soft. He's intelligent, and he turns the situation always in his favor. And come on, I mean, creativity, once again. Add a little voguing. It makes sense with the music, that's musicality. Need I say more? I've never seen anyone make something of that like he has. Obviously a submarine, like he's a clown. He's a real life clown who's obviously had training. People don't take all these things into account. Dude. See, and Tick's about, like, he's such a cool dude. He's, at least on stage, he portrays him, he's awesome. He's just a great dancer, really intelligent, awesome technique, very original, super dynamic, b-boy, locker, popper, high level at all three, and just an incredible artist altogether, and one of the greatest of all time. Need I say more? Now, I wanted to share a little bit of info about when I met Salah, actually, in Sicily. I think it was in 2015 at an event called Evento People, and you can actually find my performance at this event. And it's funny because I idolized Salah for most of my dance career, and I had a really weird encounter with him when I first met him for the first time. And it's kind of weird that I'm even sharing this with you, but I think it's important to share. And because that was my one experience with Salah, so it's totally relevant to this video. And I thought it was really interesting when I met him because he actually had some kind of animosity towards me. And I came up to him actually to apologize in a way. Kind of wanted to say that I bit a lot of his moves back then and wasn't really too worried about it because I didn't have any significant name or anything. I wasn't really on the map as far as dancing goes. And then I did So You Think You Could Dance around the same time. And I knew in my heart that he probably felt some sort of animosity to him, so I came up to apologize to him and kind of let him know, like, that I wanted to get this off my chest, that I'm sure he's been watching me and thinking, this guy stole a lot of my stuff, became famous from it. And in a way, I felt like that was true. So I came up to him out of the good of my own heart, because I kind of felt bad for this over the course of the last few years before that. And he totally agreed with me and wanted to say the exact same thing to me. And I've had this, after we talked, I felt the sense that he had not forgiven me for it. And I always felt that was kind of weird. And then later that night, we had our first performance for that event. And I went on before the twins and Salah, and they kind of had this weird, like, gang going on the side of the stage, like they were waiting for me to fail or something when I performed. And I ended up performing and, like, killing it. And I had this huge standing ovation, like, right at the last moment when I bowed. and I set the tone for the rest of the acts afterwards. And that event was really weird because it was the first time I met Salah. I'd already met Les Twins, and we worked together a few different times, but Salah had this weird vibe towards me and kind of like never forgave me, I guess, for copying a few of his moves, which I think in all honesty and in my opinion, I changed a lot, and I did in my own way. But it just goes to show you that it's really important to really come up with your own material and not to base your whole style off of another dancer. Now, over the years, obviously my style has changed, and I've taken a lot of the flexible moves and the funny stuff. I didn't completely take it out of my style, but I definitely wanted to be my own dancer. And I felt that a lot of these tricks that actually became famous after my viral video went viral just didn't have the same impact as they did before. So I can relate with Salah on a level of having a lot of different people take your moves and then get credit for them, because the same exact thing happened to me 10 years later, not 10 years later, like 5 years later, just out of karma. Everyone copied my moves and everyone did exactly as I did and tried to recreate what I was doing, just as I was doing with Elsewhere and Salah when I was a young guy. So at the end of the day, it's never too late to change your mind about being a replica of somebody else. You can always practice your foundation and come up with your own path on how to use your own body in dancing. So let that be a lesson learned, a little karma story for everyone to kind of resonate with. And I know the biting subject is always touchy and taboo in a way in the dance world. So yeah, nice to end on a happy note, but I thought it would be something cool to touch on because, like I said, that was my experience with Salah, and we're still on this weird thing, and I'm sure we'll battle in the future and everyone will love it, but that is a real rivalry, not like the fake reality TV rivalry that they created with me and Philip Chabib, but me and Salah, like, there's definitely something there. And, you know, aside from all that, like, I respect him so much as a dancer, and he's one of the reasons why I'm a dancer and why I am a professional dancer at that. So I owe a lot to Salah, whether he likes me or not. Thank you for your work and your genius, because without you, I would not be here making these videos and teaching popping to the rest of the world. So that's all I wanted to say. That's all I wanted to cover. I kind of did this one in one take. I'm not sure how well it went, but it feels real, so I'm gonna continue on with this cut, and hopefully y'all enjoy it. That's about it for today. Thank you all for tuning in, and if you liked what you saw, please leave me a like down below. Please subscribe to Salah. I'm gonna put his channel at the end of this video, the little thing where you can subscribe to him. And please check out the other videos if you haven't on what makes this dancer great. So until next time, peace out. Thank you.